What's going on, everybody? Bryan Power here with the latest edition of the Power 5 as we're here to talk Week 10 of college football. If you can believe it, it is indeed Week 10. November is upon us. The stretch run has begun, and I've got you covered with the latest line moves for all the big games this weekend, a profitable situation to sell high on a ranked team, a buy low team that happens to be 14-7 ATS as a home dog of 3 points or more, an update on our trend for when two top 25 teams meet, and of course we round it out as always with a free power play of the week. Also stay tuned to learn about a very special offer. All right, let's get into the Power 5 with our market moves section. Here are some of the most significant line moves I've seen. Penn State at Maryland. Nittany Lions open -11. They're now down to -8.5. Kind of similar to the line move we saw last week with Oklahoma and Kansas, following a 12-0-1 ATS run that obviously dates back to last season, or dated back to last season, I should say, because the Nittany Lions have now failed to cover back-to-back games. Now, Maryland, they had their own run-in with Ohio State that ended poorly, and they've lost 3 in a row straight up. Might they be a good buy low candidate for Week 10 of the college football season? Stay tuned. We're going to be getting to our sell high and buy low segments in just a bit, but it's certainly worth noting that money has come in on Maryland for that particular Big Ten matchup at home against Penn State, who's in a look-ahead spot. They play Michigan next week. First, before we get to buy low and sell high, some more line moves. Of course, all these numbers accurate as of Thursday afternoon. Looking at the WagerTalk.com live odds screen, West Virginia all the way out to -11 against a bad BYU team. UCLA up to -3 on the road against Arizona, who is 7-1 ATS this season. Just pulled a nice outright upset for me and my clients last week over Oregon State, another ranked Pac-12 team. That game was in Tucson as well. Western Kentucky on the road down to -8.5 after opening -11 against UTEP. I don't know why anyone is looking to bet UTEP personally. I just report the line moves. Let's talk a bigger game as well. Sharps, they took LSU +3.5 against Alabama. That number now down to 3. First time the Crimson Tide have been this short of a home favorite since Nick Saban's first season in Tuscaloosa. Let me know what line moves you have your eyes on. Certainly a lot of people have their eye on that LSU-Alabama game, but you can let me know which line move you'd like to hear me talk about if I didn't already hit on it by leaving a comment down below. I'll be sure to interact with you guys all the way up until kickoff on Saturday. Moving on to our sell high segment now, where we try to identify either an overvalued team or a team in a bad spot. And it's the latter this week for Kansas, who is off that historic upset over Oklahoma. Now the Jayhawks go to Ames to face an Iowa State team that is off 3 straight double-digit victories. Even though Kansas, now ranked in the top 25, very rare for them, it's actually the first time they're ever in the top 25 of the college football playoff rankings. They're a short underdog this week, despite that ranking. And it's usually pretty telling when the odds makers have the unranked team favored over a top 25 team. Odds sell high on Kansas here. That's the bottom line. And you can get a full detailed analysis why I'm doing that if you head on over to my page, wt.buzz/BP, as Iowa State is a 4% client play for me this week, and I've given it out, again, for free right on my page. Now to buy low, and we're going to look at Clemson, who is a 3-point home dog against number 12 Notre Dame. Clemson, just 4-4 straight up on the season and 7-7 straight up their last 14 games going back to 2022. Are the glory days of Dabo over in Death Valley? Well, as an underdog of 3 points or more, Dabo is 14-7 against the spread. That's the trend I teased at the opening of the program. You look at the Tigers' 4 losses this season. 2 of them have been in overtime. 3 of them were on the road. I'm sure by now you've all heard just how ornery Dabo was on his radio show this week. I do think Clemson is a potential buy low candidate here as a home dog against Notre Dame, who has already faced a gauntlet of a schedule this year, even by their standard. Stat of the week, last week, we gave you a great trend that said Kansas would at least cover against Oklahoma. Sure enough, the Jayhawks ended up winning outright. Like I said, that was a 3% play for me and my clients. This week's stat, it's going to be a follow-up on a trend I mentioned on last week's edition of the Power 5 when we talk about 2 ranked teams meeting, okay? When it's top 25 against top 25, the favorite is now 19-6 straight up and 17-7-1 against the spread. Worth noting, though, it's when the home team is favored that the chalk has done its most damage in these top 25 matchups. Home favorites in ranked versus ranked games 15-2 straight up and 14-2-1 against the spread. That is your stat of the week. And we have 4 AP Top 25 matchups this week. All right, let's go through them. 3 of them, the home team is favored. I already mentioned number 8 Bama is -3. They're laying 3 points against number 13 LSU. Also, number 1 Georgia is a 15.5 point favorite against number 14 Missouri. Guys, I just got to say this, Missouri is not the 14th best team in the country. Number 7 Texas, they are laying 4 against number 25 Kansas State. I know Missouri beat Kansas State, but I'm going to tell you there are not 24 teams in the country better than K-State. Shout out to Kelly Stewart, by the way. For the other top 25 matchup this week among AP teams, the road team is favored. Number 5 Washington putting its unbeaten record on the line against number 24 USC. The Huskies currently laying 3. Also worth noting, if you go by the initial college football playoff ratings, not the AP poll, there is a 5th top 25 matchup this week, Bedlam. Number 9, Oklahoma off that loss to Kansas, taking on rival number 22, Oklahoma State. Sooners, 6-point favorites in Stillwater there. Okay, before we get to the power play of the week, I wanted to let everyone know I do have a 5% college football max bet currently posted at WagerTalk.com. I've won 3 straight 5% plays in college football, and going back to last bowl season, I'm number 1 at WagerTalk across the board with all 5% plays, hitting a pretty outstanding 67% overall. This is my first 5% college football play in nearly a month. Again, I was a perfect 3 for 3 before that break, but we are ready to go with a 5% max bet this weekend. And of course, you can get that 5% play and the rest of my selections for 2023 when you sign up with our tremendous end-of-the-year special at WagerTalk. Get you 9 weeks of NFL, the rest of the college football regular season, and most of the bowls, NBA, college hoops, and soccer. It's less than $59 per week to get on board. All you have to do, head to my page, wt.buzz/BP to take advantage. No coupon code needed, and that applies to the rest of the great handicappers we have at wagertalk.com. You can use that deal on as many of us as you so choose. And now our power play of the week. Last week, power play of the week was Cal plus 11 against USC. They almost won it outright. And we're going to stay in the Pac-12 this week and take another team I won with last week as a client play, Arizona. They've been kind to me all season, and they've been kind to a lot of people this season. 7-1 against the number, tied for the best spread mark in the country. Again, I had them against Oregon State here in Tucson, outright winner. I cashed them earlier in the year, catching a generous number at Mississippi State. And I think it's important to note the Wildcats have not lost a game this year by more than 7 points, guys. 2 of their 3 losses were in overtime, Mississippi State and USC. The other one was to Washington, still unbeaten. I'm taking the field goal this week against UCLA. It should be noted, Arizona's success as a home dog, not limited to 2023, okay? They're 18-6-1 against the spread versus top 25 teams when catching points in Tucson. UCLA, number 20 in the country. Also this season, Arizona, a perfect 5-0 ATS as a dog, home or road. Their only non-cover this year, Arizona, came when they were a double-digit favorite versus Stanford. So Arizona, +3 is your power play of the week, and that does it for the Power 5 for Week 10 of college football. Make sure you're subscribed to the WagerTalk YouTube channel. That way you'll be instantly alerted when a new edition of the Power 5 drops. I'll also have you covered for NFL Week 9. That should be out on Friday. And all of our other great exclusive sports betting content here on the channel. You get instantly alerted when you click that bell down below. Also, be sure to go ahead and smash that like button. You can check me out on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Bryan Power _wins. Until next time, let's cash some tickets.